You're muted or your volume's low.
All right, happy Monday, everybody, from everybody here. Every Wednesday, man, I'm all out of it, TJ. First, I didn't have the mic set up, and then I wasn't sure if I edited us on the show. I'm having a case of the Wednesdays, TJ. But let's get right into it. Happy Wednesday from everybody here at Prime Sports World. On today's episode of the Prime, we're going to talk about the New England Patriots. A changing of the guard, as for sure, happened there in Foxborough. My name's David On Point Huppin. Right there is my co-host, Mr. TJ Hopkins. Thank you very much for joining us, and please like, share, and subscribe to the podcast. Happy Wednesday, TJ. How are you, my friend?
It's Wednesday.
Yeah, we're almost almost to the weekend. We're almost there, TJ. We almost made it.
We're almost there. Yep.
Almost made it. Let's not waste any time. Let's talk about New England. Let's talk about a new era of Patriot football. Bill Belichick, the ageless wonder, out. Gerard Mayo, now the head coach of the New England Patriots. They also have a new GM. I did not look him up. I will do that right now. But yeah, a new era in Patriot football. Bill Belichick out, and his system is kind of, and Gerard Mayo in as the head coach. What were we expecting in year one under Gerard Mayo, and what do we expect differently than we saw out of Bill Belichick for the last few seasons, at least last season?
Obviously, I expect the growing pains that comes with being a
Elliot
first-time head.
Wolf is now the GM of the New England Patriots. He's the yeah.
Yeah, I expect the growing pains that come with being a first-time head coach. It's a lot different when you're just the linebackers coach or the DB coach. You have one specific group that you're responsible for, and that's really your main concern. And that's what Gerard Mayo was. He was a linebackers coach, and it's you go from having just to worry about the linebackers and making sure they're doing their job to now you have to make sure everybody does their job.
Yep.
Like it's on you to make sure everybody's where they're supposed to be. You ain't just worried about Matthew Judon and what he got to do. You got to worry about everybody.
And yeah, I think it's going to be I think it's going to be a breath of fresh air, given the Bill Belichick and the mannerisms that he had over the last the abrasive nature of a Bill Belichick. Gerard Mayo comes in; it's kind of quote unquote a player's coach. They had him under contract, and he was kind of selected as the heir apparent. When Bill Belichick left, they either had to hire Gerard Mayo as the head coach or lose him entirely. And they made the decision that, hey, this is going to be the next head coach of our team.
Truth be told, I feel like the Patriots should have made this move when Brady left. I feel like this is. I ain't gonna say too little, too late because I'm not gonna do that. But no, seriously, you don't get the Patriot way. You can't be the Patriots. You can't be the Patriot way without Tom Brady back there because Tom Brady allowed Bill to do so much. Like I made the comparison years ago when we were in college. I'm all like Bill Belichick is the NFL version of Greg Popovich. You have a star, and you just every year at the start of camp, Greg Popovich would pick a play where Tim Duncan did something minute, and he would grill him. He would just chew his ass out in front of the whole team, and Tim Duncan had to sit there and take it. And that set the tone for the other people. Like, damn, that's Tim Duncan. If he ain't cussing back at Greg, I can't do that. Bill Belichick did the same thing. Tom Brady would have a game where he would go 28 of 32, 350, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions, no sacks, and Bill Belichick would just literally dissect the 4 passes that he missed. And Tom Brady had to sit there and take it, and the rest of the team had to be like, "Damn, bro, that's Tom. If Tom ain't firing back at Bill, I damn sure can't fire back at Bill."
Yep. And I think the change of the guard was definitely needed there in New England. It was a couple years too late, but this was a long time coming. I mean, this roster, like the Bill Belichick way and the way that he kind of swung on draft picks and the way he operated, it just was getting tired. Like people were tired of the Bill Belichick way. And I think a new face and a new voice was desperately needed there in New England. But it is, you could basically pencil in the New England Patriots for, 11 wins and probably a trip to the AFC title game for 20 years. And then for the last 3 seasons, they just kind of been not that good. I mean, they were good. They had the season where they had Cam Newton, where they were competitive. But then they had the season with Mac Jones, where like maybe. And then they regressed after that. 2 seasons in a row with just abysmal performances, back-to-back seasons. It was time to make the change. It was time.
It's the maybe they had it back. They had a season with Mac Jones, so it's like, all right, maybe. But no, you're right though. Like it's I think that's what, and we said it too. Like Bill Belichick, if anybody earned the right to leave on their own terms, it was Bill Belichick.
Yeah. I mean, he's like Popovich. Popovich is going to decide when he wants to stop coaching.
When he wants to stop coaching,
it won't be a scenario where they're going to be like, "I'm sorry, Bill Belichick or Popovich." Like, we're gonna move on. Like, no, he'll decide when it's time for him to stop coaching. I thought he was going to get I thought Bill Belichick was going to get a job in one of his coaching cycles. That didn't end up coming to fruition. I think it'll be interesting to see what this Patriot team looks like without Bill Belichick for the first time in damn near 25 years, something like that.
Yeah, because like I think it would have been different for him if Bill Belichick if they went to Bill and be like, hey, you can coach, you can't be the GM no more. Like some of your decision making at the GM's position is why we are where we are.
Yeah, 23 years he was the head coach of the New England Patriots, 6-time Super Bowl champ. His flowers, but I don't necessarily think you can like remove a title from Bill Belichick and still keep him on at any kind of. They had to make a clean break from him, and that's exactly what happened this offseason. So we'll see what the Patriots end up looking like after this season, during the season. Let's talk about Drake May. Drake May, third overall pick in this upcoming draft. When do you think he'll actually see the field? Jacoby Brissett is on this roster. Bailey Zappi is on this roster. Joe Milton is actually still on this roster, who has a machine gun for a throwing arm. But when do you think Drake May will actually see the football field? And do you think it'll be week 1? Because I don't. I think it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be one of those rare.
No.
I don't think.
You took this kid, what, third overall?
I think, but they're not in a scenario where they have to rush him onto the field. Like, I think if Drake May, like, if he struggles during training camp, we don't know what he's. I mean, we haven't really seen what he looks like yet. But I think there's a real possibility that Jacoby Brissett is going to be the starting quarterback week 1 for the Patriots.
Then why did you take Drake May?
Because I mean, he's going to be.
I don't want to hear that shit about the future right now. No, you took the third over. Like, I'm the third overall pick. You're playing me right the fuck now. Like, excuse my language. Like, you're playing me right now. No.
I think it'll be later. I don't think.
No.
That's just my opinion. I'm allowed to have my opinion. Like, I think
so.
I do not think he will start week 1.
That doesn't do anything, bro. Like, again, like, either play me right now or don't play me at all. It's that like this. We're gonna start you at week 8. Why? Either if I wasn't good enough 8 weeks ago, I'm damn sure not good enough now. Either play me out the gate or don't play me at all. Like, this whole sitting for it, like, that's not the move. That's not the way. That don't work for everybody. Like, everybody's been looking for that Pat Mahomes. Like, everybody, like, no. One, you're not Andy Reid. You're not Andy Reid, and you didn't have a serviceable Alex Smith still able to fucking play. Like, that's not no Jacoby Brissett, nice dude. I know what Jacoby Brissett is. I don't need to see it anymore. I don't need to see it.
You know what, TJ? You convinced me. Maybe Drake May will start week 1.
Like, I don't need to see Jacoby Brissett. I don't need to see Bailey Zappi. I saw that game. It's ugly. It didn't end well. We were third overall pick. We were the third overall pick with Bailey Zappi taking snaps. That's what we were. I don't need to see that no more. You drafted Drake May, play him. Point blank. How he gonna get better if you don't play him? Period.
You make a good argument, and I actually changed my opinion based on your argument. Because I do think. I changed my mind. I think he will. I think he probably will start week 1.
Because I'm like I say it all the time. Hey, either start the kid or don't. Now, if you want to follow the Pat Mahomes model, follow it all the way through. Pat Mahomes ain't play a game till what, week 15, when the season was damn near basically over. They had the Chiefs clinched the spot. They were win, lose, draw. There was nothing that could, change the seeding form. They were what they were. Like, this whole notion of, hey, well, we're going to see what happens the first month. And then we'll put the Bears did that with Mr. Trubisky. He didn't play till week 5 and they gave him at the time the Minnesota Vikings, who was like a top 6 defense in the league, and then wondered why shit went south. No, either play the kid or don't play the kid. Plain and simple.
I'll agree with you. I think because there is momentum talking, like the internet is talking about how he may sit for a while. But you've convinced me otherwise. Drake May will play week 1 for the New England Patriots. Let's swing into the defensive side of the ball. Christian Gonzalez going into year 2. He was fantastic as a rookie before he got banged up in week 4. He was looking like probably going to be defensive rookie of the year, potentially.
Mm-hmm.
That's how good he was for his first 4 games for the member of the New England Patriot. He gets hurt. He doesn't return. What are we looking for him out of coming back from that injury? I don't remember what the injury. I think it might have been his shoulder or
it was. was something like that. I think.
Or a foot?
It was
Maybe?
season, but it was season ending though, right? Wasn't it?
Yeah.
Wasn't it? Was it a torn labrum? I don't want to miss. I don't want to miss.
It was a shoulder. It was some sort of shoulder injury. I don't want to say which kind.
I was right. It was a torn labrum. Torn labrum.
Yeah, but I mean, the dude was amazing before he got hurt, and so now he's fully healthy. He should be ready for week number 1. He should be ready for training camp. What are we expecting out of him week? What are we expecting his impact to be on this defense this season? I mean, he had 1 pick in 4 games. He had 3 pass deflections. I mean, he was really good.
So Christian Gonzalez is he's a part of that next generation of shutdown corners. Like it's him, it's Pat Surtain, is Sauce Gardner, is what's his name in Carolina, J.C. Horn, like Derek Stingley Jr. He's the elder statesman of the crew, but we got to add him in here. Jalen Johnson, and Jalen Johnson's not that old for just for clarification, but that's what you're expecting out of Christian Gonzalez. Like, hey, you're going to be in that tier with those guys. Like, I want 1/3 of the field when you're on the field, whatever side of the field you want. I want that side of the field shut the fuck down all the way, and you are fully capable of doing it. He's a lot bigger than the average corner was, and that's kind of like that's the new norm. Like big corners are
6'1", 205.
Yeah, big corners are 6'2". Like big corners are the new norm. 6'2", 205. Yeah, like that's the new norm. That's the new norm. That's what we're working with. And yeah, like you said, like how many interceptions? 1 interception in 4 games.
3 pass deflections. I mean.
So it's like it's an incomplete on Christian Gonzalez, but we know what he is. Like we don't know what he is. Like we have an idea of what he could be, and it's a pretty good damn idea.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, he was real good in his first 4 games as an NFL player. Probably would have been one rookie defensive player of the year. Yeah, I think he's going to be cornerback 1 for the New England Patriots. I know they have him listed right now in their depth chart as their right corner with Jonathan Jones playing left corner. But I think it's only a matter of time before Christian Gonzalez is taking the best wide receiver on every team every week and being a problem for big time wide receivers. Christian Gonzalez, yeah, I think he's in for a really big time season. And when we talk about comeback player of the year, I think that this is a guy who's like one of those under the radar comeback player of the year candidates.
I can see that.
Oh, by the way, did you see that it changed? Like, so the NFL was so bent out of shape that Joe Flacco won the comeback player of the year last season. They changed the language of the award. I don't know if you noticed that or not.
What's the language of the award?
So now the only way you can win a comeback player of the year is if you missed time in the previous season due to some sort of injury.
No, that makes sense. Like
that's
not what the language was to. That's not what the language was to begin with.
No,
like,
Joe Flacco wasn't hurt last the season before he won the comeback player of the year. He just was out of the league because nobody told him that he was retired.
I mean,
remember you retired him and then he decided to come back and play for the Cleveland Browns anyways.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Me personally, I always felt that it was. Oh, well, to be fair, I always felt like he was going to win the award by default. Like, who was his competition? Damar Hamlin. No disrespect to Damar Hamlin, but Damar Hamlin didn't play. Like, he came back, but Damar Hamlin, like this, it's a different story if Damar Hamlin was a productive member of the Buffalo Bills. Like, he was out there getting tackles and interceptions and sacks and pass breakups and whatnot. But he wasn't. Like, Damar Hamlin was
barely played.
He was barely a special teamer, and they were like, "Oh, we should give it to Damar Hamlin." Why? Because again, happy he's still here. It was tragic what happened. Happy he's still here, but Damar Hamlin didn't play to win comeback player of the year. So I have Christian Gonzalez I think this year there should be like no hang-ups about who potentially could win comeback player of the year.
I mean, there's tons of guys who win comeback player of the year this season. I mean, the list goes on and on. I mean, Nick Chubb, Aaron Rodgers, Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, Christian Gonzalez. Like there are literally a endless list. Kirk Cousins. Like there are literally an endless list of guys that could potentially win comeback player of the year next season.
So yeah, I have no issue with that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Moving on from them, let's talk about their draft. Obviously, they went Drake May, number 3 overall in this upcoming draft. They went with Jalen Polk, speedster out of Washington. They took an offensive tackle out of Penn State. They took a guard out of Texas A&M. They took another wide receiver, another swing in the 4th round, the wide receiver out of UCF. They took a corner out of South Carolina. They took a 6th-round quarterback in Tennessee and Joel Milton III. When I mentioned earlier, the guy has a machine gun or missile for a throwing arm. And then they took a tight end, a flyer on a tight end out of Florida State in the 7th round in Jaheim Bell. TJ, looking at their draft, I mean, it's really all going to be caveat on the success or lack thereof of Drake May. He's got to be the franchise quarterback that they expect him to be. He's 6'4", 223 pounds. He did throw for, was it 1,200? He also had a lot of rushing yards in his college career, 1,200 rushing yards so he's kind of a dual threat quarterback.
Drake May?
Yeah, Drake May.
Yeah, all right, so obviously, like, you're starting Drake May. It's happening. The only way Drake May don't start is if he gets hurt or if he's just that abysmal to the point where I can't put this dude on the field, bro. Like, my job is on the line. I cannot put Drake May on the field. Drake May unfairly, I might add, gets compared to to some of his predecessors out of North Carolina, Mitch Trubisky, Sam Howell. Is not fair to him because Drake May is bigger than both of them. Like he's bigger than both of them. He's also from a super athletic family. Do you know who his brother is? You remember Luke May from North Carolina?
Yeah, I know.
Their family is a Carolina family. His dad played quarterback at North Carolina. His brother did what he did there.
North Carolina, yeah. I mean, he comes from an athletic family. And I mean, he's got all the intangibles to be a big-time quarterback in the NFL. He set a bunch of records while at North Carolina for completions in a season and passing yards in 2022. Regressed a little bit in 2023, but the team around him also got worse.
Regressed.
He lost an offensive lineman. He lost Josh Downs, his number 1 wide receiver. And I don't think that's something you can just sneeze at and be like, oh, like there's a reason that he was regressed a little bit in the following season. And he's a little bit more mobile than people expect him to be. I
think with Drake, so we see this a lot now, and I think the Bengals were the ones who started this trend, and they continue to do so. When the Bengals moved on from Carson Palmer, and they let Ocho Cinco walk out the door, they get AJ Green with their first round pick, and we're like, who the hell is going to throw AJ Green the ball? They just let Carson Palmer go. And then they follow that up with the 2nd round pick of Andy Dalton. Then 10 years go by, they repeat it with Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow. So like now you see a lot of teams when they get young quarterbacks, they usually draft a receiver high up to pair with that.
The Chicago Bears did. I mean,
so you get Caleb Williams at 1, and then you get Rome Odunze at 9. Right? You get Drake May at 3, and then you come back in the 2nd round and you get a Jalen Polk. Rome Odunze.
I was actually wrong. He's not necessarily a speedster, 4.52 in the 40, but he is 6'1", 203 pounds.
No, 4.5, that's decent. It ain't nothing to be like, wow, he's fast, but 4.5.
Yeah.
Like 4.5 in the open field, like, hey, that's tough to catch unless you running 4.5 right with him. Like you get what I'm saying?
And the kid from Central Florida had 5 catches of 50+ yards last season. So this guy is a big time play waiting to happen. And I mean, he's a good complement to what they already have. He did have 14 drops in 2 seasons. It's not an ideal.
That's also 14 drops. 14 drops in 1 season. Yeah, bro, we gotta have a talk. We gotta put some stickum on the gloves, which is illegal, by the way. Can't use stickum no more. It's a joke.
With the clubs that NFL players wear now, might as well just be stickum.
Might as well be stickum.
Crazy.
It's like Fortnite. If you have 14 drops in the season, every day after practice.
That's almost one a game. I mean, that's kind of a lot. I don't really know a lot.
If it's 14 drops in 1 season, you said 14 drops across
2 seasons. Correct.
That's more. I can work with that. Like I can. Oh, that's what. Like you can manage that. Like that's yeah. And if he had 14 drops in 1 season, then we gotta have a problem. We gotta have a conversation. There's some words got to be said, but I think the real quote unquote steal here is Joe Milton with the 6th round. Joe Milton could have been a 3rd round pick.
Yeah,
like dead ass. Like Joe Milton, he real life could have been a 3rd round pick. You get you get him at the 6th. I pray that they keep him at quarterback. Don't try to change his position. Don't try to make him this gadget dude. Don't try to Taysom Hill him, don't do that. Keep him at what he is. Getting Jaheim Bell in the 7th round out of Florida State again. I wish I could have seen what Florida State would have been had Jordan Travis not gotten hurt.
Yeah, 6'2", 242 pounds at the tight end position. You can see the prototypical size. He had 897 yards after the catch since 2021, which is 2nd among tight ends.
Because
not named Brock Bowers.
Because I feel like that whole Tennessee, that whole Florida State team, everybody's draft stock who was draft eligible, everybody's stock got hindered because Jordan Travis got hurt, and then you get your ass blitzed by a pissed off Georgia Bulldogs team in your bowl game where the game was over, as David said yesterday, in the 1st quarter.
Yeah. And then so they did reach on Wallace, the tight end, the offensive tackle out of Penn State. He was the consensus, basically 186 on consensus big board of all draft, and they took him at 68. Bill Belichick may be out of the building, but this feels like a Bill Belichick pick. And then the offensive guard, Layden Robinson, the kid from Texas A&M, he was a pretty good value pick. I mean, at guard, given Cole Strange coming back from injury, he hasn't been all that good as a pro anyways, but he only allowed 6 total sacks across 1,200 career pass blocking snaps in college. And this is in the ACC. This is in the SEC. Yeah, in 2023, he only allowed 1 sack all season. So that guy might have some value there as a 4th round pick, a guard who probably will end up having to play a little bit this season, given that Cole Strange is banged up a little bit. Sidney Show is somebody I do not know.
And to your point, Cole Strange has not been good. That's one of those Bill Belichick picks where it's like, really?
Yeah.
Like you were not what you call it.
But I do think that New England addressed major needs in this draft. Like you needed offensive line help, you needed wide receiver depth, you needed some weapons on the outside. I think they did a good job drafting Drake May and then following it up by putting weapons around him, putting offensive linemen around him to make his life easier if he is the day 1 starter, as we kind of predict.
Oh well, and I got some breaking news. Brandon Graham. I wish we would have got this yesterday when we did the other day when we did the Eagles. Brandon Graham's retiring at the end of the season. Win, lose, draw. This is it for him. I could
seen that coming.
Yeah. 15 years. That's a long. 15 years at the edge. That's a long time. But overall, I give this is kind of what you want. Like when you're clearly rebuilding, right? New coach, new quarterback, new everything. This is where we at. With the Patriots. I get this draft class, just to get the building blocks they got. I'll give this a B minus.
I'll go a B minus as well. Swinging in from there, let's talk about roster shakeup. They took an offensive lineman, Okafor. I don't remember where he played last season, but he is now a member of the New England Patriots to kind of shore up that offensive line. They brought old standard Jacoby Brissett. They got Antonio Gibson from the Washington Commanders. They brought in KJ Osborne, who's been a decent wide receiver there in Minnesota. He was in Minnesota last season. And then the key departures, obviously. Oh, yeah, Pittsburgh. They traded Mac Jones to the Jacksonville Jaguars. They lost Trent Brown. They lost Mike Gesicki, and they lost Ezekiel Elliott. There are other names, but they just couldn't fit on the graphic. J.C. Jackson, who hasn't been at all the same guy since he tore that PCL as a member of the Chargers a few years ago. They also lost, Mac Jones mentioned that one already. Miles Bryant is a corner I don't know a lot about. They lost the Green Goblin, Jalen Mills, to the Giants. They lost Chris Board, a linebacker, to the Ravens. They brought in Joey Sly, who has a big leg, who can't seem to ever be that accurate. I'm not concerned about anybody else that they lost on this roster, but I mean, this is kind of what happens. I mean, if you're clearly going into a rebuild, and so players that are, valuable unto other teams, like a Mike Gesicki, Trent Brown, and Ezekiel Elliott, they're not going to want to play here where it's just going to be probably a rebuild. Like, this is not going to be a team that makes the playoffs next season.
Yeah,
I do think Antonio Gibson is an interesting ad, though.
It is. J.C. Jackson with New England, got paid by the Chargers, got hurt, came back, wasn't good, then got traded right back to the Patriots for like a fraction of what the Chargers paid him. And now he's not with, he don't have a team. He's a free agent as of March 1st. He got released. Getting Antonio Gibson, obviously, I think he should be RB1.
They kind of sort of paid him a little bit too. I mean, he had a 3-year deal with $17.25 million for a running back. That's some pretty good money for a guy who's been just okay in the NFL. I mean, he was really good his first couple seasons, but he kind of got overtaken by Brian Robinson a little bit, a lot actually. I mean, he was basically a special teamers on the Commanders last season. He basically didn't get any carries at all. So,
and again, some went down with that, and it just doesn't make sense, because you don't go from over 1,000 yards to literally half that, and then half.
I mean, imagine they just kind of were like, if Brian Robinson Jr. is cheaper, we're not gonna have to worry about paying him right now. We'll just ride him, and then we'll just let Antonio Gibson walk. They also brought in Taki, the former Browns linebacker, to a 2-year deal, who is a good football player. 6'1", 238 pounds, should be a guy that you can use in that linebacking core. Should start for them, if we're being honest.
100%. And then, of course, Jacoby Brissett, who, hey, man, just keep collecting the checks, bro. That's
not to mention. I mean, Jacoby Brissett is like a pro's pro. Like, if there's think of the stuff that Jacoby Brissett has been through as a player. I mean, he's backed up like Andrew Luck. He's backed up Tom Brady. He's backed up Jimmy Garoppolo. He's backed up. I mean, Jimmy. There's like a who's who of he's backed up Deshaun Watson. Like, Jacoby Brissett is backed up a who's who of quarterbacks in the National Football League, and he can kind of be that guy who's like the elder statesman and be like, "Hey, Drake May, like, this is how things need to go in the NFL. Like, this is how you're supposed to act. This is how you're supposed to behave. Like, even when things aren't going your way, Jacoby Brissett has been a pro's pro since he got into the league."
Absolutely. I think them losing Mike Gesicki, I think that's going to be kind of tough. Say what you want about Mike Gesicki, but that he provided that security blanket that tight ends are supposed to provide. And I don't even know who's going to be a tight end for them now. Who's
I mean, they still got Hunter Henry. They still got Hunter Henry. They still got Hunter Henry. They got Austin Hooper, who's kind of been a shell of himself over the last few seasons, who was really good in Atlanta, has not been as good anywhere else he's been since he's bounced around the league a little bit the last couple seasons. And then they obviously brought in the tight end from Florida State. They have Mitchell Wilcox on this roster, who I know literally nothing about.
Yeah, man, it's gonna be it's all we said. We're saying everything but stuff that needs to be said. It's gonna be a tough season. in New England.
Let's just get right into it. I mean, the roster shakeup's nice, but let's talk about the New England Patriots winning their ceiling and the floor.
Bruh.
This is going to be a straight up. This is going to be a tough season if you're a New England Patriots fan.
Man.
I mean, I know you've been accustomed to winning, but this is just not going to be a team that wins a lot of games this season. I mean, look at their schedule. Like it is tough. Like
I'm
it's
just
tough.
looking at it. I'm just looking at it out the gate. Cincy, Seattle, New York, San Fran.
I mean, you play the NFC West and the AFC South, and I mean AFC South could potentially have 3 playoff teams, and whatever you think about the Titans and the NFC West. I mean, they should have 3 teams that are fairly competitive, and whatever you want to think about the Arizona Cardinals. I mean, I'm looking at the schedule and I'm trying to find where I can, like, being generous here, like where I can find like more than one win. I think they could go to Tennessee and win that game. I think they could go to Arizona and win that game. But the rest of their schedule is just brutal. Like they got tough games on the road with Cincinnati, San Francisco, the Jacksonville Jaguars. They got to play the Bears, the Dolphins. I mean, this is like we're a Positive Pete show here at Prime Sports World. I think their ceiling's like 3 wins, maybe 4,
maybe 5. Like they split with the Dolphins.
I mean, right?
They split with the Dolphins at home. They because Miami goes up there, right? They split with that. They beat them at home.
I guess.
You split with the Jets. You beat the Jets at home. I agree with you on the Titans. They can maybe win that one. They can maybe beat Arizona.
I mean, because this is still a fantastic defense. Like this New England Patriots defense is still really good. I mean, Christian Barmore, Matthew Judon, Josh Uche, who's took another step forward last season. Kyle Duggar still on this team. And Jabril Peppers, Christian Gonzalez. Like this should be a top 5 defensive unit in terms of yards given up per game. How much they're actually on the field is going to be a major question because no matter how good your defense is, if you're on the football field a ton, you're going to struggle no matter what, as we know very well here in Chicago.
All too well. And
yeah,
again, I don't care. I don't care. I don't care if how good the defense is. Everybody gets tired. Yeah. That wall, like that bend but don't break mentality is cool until shit starts to break, and it ain't a progressive break. When it breaks, it's
the floodgates come open.
Open, like it's open. It's okay. Cincinnati, that's a loss. Seattle. Maybe. Yeah.
I mean, they could potentially win that Seattle game. We don't really know exactly what Seattle's going to look like with the new head coach and new regime.
It's still probably 70-30 loss.
Yeah. True. But if we're doing the ceiling, I think the ceiling is they could probably win that game.
My ceiling. I'm stick with my 5. My ceiling's 5 wins. They go 5-12.
I'll go 5 as my ceiling, and I'll go 1 win as the floor because I don't think anyone's going to go defeated this season. I think they'll get a Titans game. I think they'll beat Arizona, one of those 2 games. But this is going to be probably the worst season in New England Patriots, maybe ever, potentially.
I mean, like considering the fact that they were third overall pick last season. Like, you might repeat that. You might be worse than that. We might be doing a mock draft with New England Patriots as the number 1 overall pick.
And I think we will be doing that. So it'll be the worst. So if the New England Patriots only win 1 game, it'll be the worst record they've had since you haven't even been alive when this happened. In 1990, they went 1-15. Yeah, I know. You weren't alive in 1990.
I was not alive.
And one of those rare.
You probably already had 5 o'clock shadow and all the
Yeah,
other good
I
shit.
did actually. You're right, I did. But yeah, I mean, this is like they're not used to having this kind of a stretch. I mean, in 2001 they won 11-5, and they've basically had a winning season every single
Ever
season
since.
until 2020, and then they had they were 10-7 in 2021, they were 8-9 in 2022, and 4-13 last season. And this is probably going to be more of the same that we saw last year, because I think this New England Patriots team, there's going to be some growing pains. Whenever you have a change of regime and you have a new quarterback, you have weapons that are still kind of question marks, you have an offensive line that has a lot of question marks. The only thing that you know for sure when it comes to New England Patriots is this defense should be good next season.
Yeah, and that's something you hang your hat on. And we kind of saw that in Chicago too. Like that the year they got Mr. Trubisky, the offense wasn't good. They were serviceable. Defense, as quiet as kept, was like top 10, but no one cared because we went 5-11. No one gave a damn. And you kept it, and that's when you get a Roquan Smith. That's when you get a
I mean, this defense actually was atrocious last season. Oh, that's offense.
But
so the New England Patriots were the 7th best defense last year in terms of yards per game.
So top 10. You had a top 10 defense in terms of yards per game last season. No one gave a damn because y'all went 4-13.
I mean, Matthew Judon missed a bunch of time last season too, so like this defense should be excellent next season. But unfortunately, if you're a New England Patriots fan, it's probably going to be a long season for you. But the future is bright. I mean, you got some nice young pieces. You got some nice new era there in New England Patriots football. So we'll see how things end up shaking out when the season is over. We'll revisit New England at some point.
And I gotta rehash this talking point. If Drake May is the starter from week 1 on, like preseason throughout the end of the season, and he's not good or he's below what you expected, that's also the point. He's a rookie. He's gonna have growing pains. It's gonna be bad. Shut up. Like, stop with the, I can't wait till Shedeur Sanders to take snaps for the. Why? So y'all can repeat the process? No.
Yeah.
Shut up. Like, we've forgotten the fact that rookies are that. Rookies are rookies. Like, rookies, give a rookie a chance to be a rookie. Give him a chance to learn and to make mistakes. What they can't do, what the Patriots can't do, is have Drake May looking over his shoulder every time he throws a bad pass or he misses a read or he turns the ball over, and they're like, hey, Jacoby Brissett, start warming up. That's how you kill his confidence.
100%. But yeah, we'll see what ends up happening with New England Patriots this season as the season unfolds. Thank you very much for joining us here at Prime Sports World. This has been our New England Patriots season preview. We are now into the AFC East. We'll probably take, I think Izzy's running a show. I'm going to a concert tomorrow, so I'll be out. And then Izzy's running a college football show on Friday. So we'll see what the schedule ends up shaking out. I'll keep you guys updated on that. But yeah, please like, share, and subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss any of our content. We stream on Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter, and YouTube as well. So keep an eye out for all that stuff. And TJ, what do we do here at the Prime, my friend?
We go to work, guys. Sorry, because it's time for
you have a good day at the office, man. I will see you probably next week sometime.
All right, have fun, man. Wait, what concert are you going to?
I'm going to see Hawthorne Heights. It's their 20th anniversary of one of their original albums. My friend, so I made a friend down here in Fort Wayne. It's his favorite band, and his birthday is like this weekend. So I bought tickets for us to go. So he's been having like a rough go of it. So I figured a nice little birthday present to cheer him up a little bit.
Oh, look at you being a good person.
I try. But yeah, we'll be back here next weekend. You guys all take it easy and have safe and have a great weekend from everybody here at Prime Sports World. Peace out.